What is good, ladies and gents? And for all of you out there who are privileged enough to take yet another vacation, to leave two ugly mugs on this show, such as Conor Coughlin at Cough_DFS. That is him. We know him and love him. We especially love his bar cam where the focus is not on him, but rather on the booze. That'll be coming up real quick. But of course, I am Bo McBrayer at Bo_McBigtime. This is the 19th hole live. And this is an IBT Media production. Go ahead and check out IBT Media on Twitter, on the website. Check it all out. Got all the good stuff on there, the best lifestyle articles tied in with fantasy sports. We are in the throes. We hit the Florida swing officially, Connor. The Florida swing, and it's National Margarita Day coming up. We have a great show in store for you guys. So I hope you're ready to tip it back and maybe talk some golf too.
Yeah, man, I'm just stoked to get off the West Coast. That's more your forte. So
I know, clean house. Now I just gotta be careful I don't get too confident.
Yeah, you built that bankroll. You better not piss it away now. And we're talking margaritas, which I think are also maybe your wheelhouse. So it is going to be a good show.
Yeah. I think you guys are gonna be thrilled to see what I mixed up for myself, as well as Connor's actually gonna mix one up live here. Hopefully shaken, not stirred, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, and you'll witness.
Oh.
But I'll tell you, our boy Nate's going to be bummed he missed this show because, I mean, he's trying to become a Mexican citizen, and we'll be knocking back some tequila today. So it's, that's what happens when you take 27 vacations.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to what's his real motivation. Does he like the show enough to be on the show, or does he just like being away from the show? And yeah, we do miss Nate. We miss him doing the intro instead of me because, to be honest, that's not my bag. Like, this is like Florida swing for me. It's just like the intros. I just don't like. I grew up playing on Bermuda grass in Northern California, but it's not Florida Bermuda, where you actually got to know stuff about how grass grows to putt on it. It's going to be crazy this week at the Honda. So yeah, let's fire up the bar cam. Let's make a margarita, Cough. What do you think?
Hey man, I'm down. Let's get it going.
So what kind of tequila are we working with? That's the coup de grace. We got to figure out cuál tequila tienes aquí.
So I'm going with an El Tesoro Repo today.
Ooh, hey baby. Yep.
So I normally do Silva or Blanco. Kind of wanted to try and set up the Repo because I don't drink a ton of tequila. Definitely don't drink a ton of margaritas, but I figured I'd mix it up for myself today. So pretty simple, basically. Not the world's most difficult cocktail to make. You're gonna fill up your shaker.
It is quite possibly the noisiest cocktail to make, though.
Hey man, I'm just trying to keep it spicy, you know.
I want to tell you a quick story before you get too far into it. When I was a kid, I played in this company golf tournament with my dad. It was a father-son tournament, and of course, I was playing golf. Basically, I was a brand new golfer. He got me a new set of clubs, and we went to this tournament. And the tournament is basically just a booze fest of fathers and sons. Fathers getting drunk, sons driving way earlier than they were supposed to be. And so we knew that the party was happening because there was a rich guy who owned his own business that was out there, and his golf cart had a Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville blender on the back of it, literally mounted on the back of his cart. And the biggest cheers were for close to the pin, long drive, and whenever he fired up the blender. You got the loudest cheers from everybody on the golf course. You can hear the blender from any place on the course. And that was just like, it's a memory that sticks for me forever. I was probably 9 or 10 years old, and I still remember that damn blender.
And that's how long you've been drinking tequila. Good work.
Yeah, roughly. So you got the Reposado there, the Tesoro. That's a really good choice. That's a delicious tequila. It's a great starting point for a margarita. Even if you don't feel like mixing, you can just pour a few shots of that, and it's delicious.
Yeah, it's a really nice tequila, and like I said, I'm not always the world's biggest fan. I do like tequila, but I just don't drink a ton of it. So, kind of to your point, this is a really nice tasting Repo. Like, really don't get a lot of. It's not overly bitter. So it kind of comes through clean in a margarita. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put the ice in your shaker. You're going to start off with about 2 ounces of your tequila of choice. You're going to do about an ounce or so of lime juice, maybe a little bit more.
Do you know how many limes roughly that is usually?
I don't know the actual count on physical limes, but it would
Oh, you're using the bottled stuff, man.
I told you, man, I'm keeping it real basic.
That is basic.
So yeah, we're just using a little Rose's lime juice, and then we're going to take a little bit of Cointreau. You want to do about an ounce or so of that, and then we're going to do about a half an ounce of simple syrup. Now, our buddy Brad, who is going to be on tonight, actually reduced some pineapple and made his own simple syrup and smoked it.
Pineapple sugar, my God.
So that was going to be the crowning glory to this cocktail tonight. But Brad's got a little COVID scare this evening, so we're gonna wish well wishes towards him.
Yeah, he's got the free pass, and his leave of absence is acceptable, unlike Nate's. Yeah, Brad's excused, Nate is unexcused, and it's going to be on his permanent record for a while, at least 6 months, because and I think attendance violations are a year that stay in your file. So don't think we're going to forget this, Nate. When you ask for more vacation in the future, we're going to have to think twice about whether or not we approve it.
On top of that, like I said, of all the shows that he picks to miss, it's this one. But
it's always this one.
So, anyways, you're going to get all that into your shaker. You're going to give her a little shake, and then we're going to strain that over ice.
Yeah.
And I do my marg a little bit different. Traditionally, people are going to garnish it with a lime. What I do is I take an orange and just kind of give a little hit to the rim of the glass, rub it in some kosher salt, and then we're just going to hit it with a little orange sliver on the side. The reason I do it that way is I like the orange notes to come out a little bit more, so a little more citrus that I can get going in there. You already got plenty of lime juice. I feel like the orange gives it a nice little twist. So that in a nutshell, kids, is how to make a very simple margarita for National Margarita Day.
Yeah, cheers, boy. There you go. It's my extra small margarita here. I have a fishbowl here. Do you want to hear my quick process? I actually do mine pretty differently from you. You're a wild card over there. That South Dakota people just mix margs a little different. Basically, I take my same shaker cup and I pour in the juice of 2 limes, fresh squeezed always for me, because I can get limes for like 25 cents a piece here, and they're always really good and juicy. I squeezed the 2 limes full, actually 3. To be honest, I poured 4 ounces tonight, so 3 limes worth. I cut a single sliver out of the middle of one of them for my garnish, but I do the lime juice. I do the juice of one of those little clementines. So just like you said, the nice extra sweet citrus orange. And then I actually put agave nectar. I have a lot of agave nectar that I use for marinades, especially taco marinades. So agave nectar instead of whatever else you want to use for sweetener. And I muddle, I throw in a couple of the rinds of the lime from the juicing process and muddle that for a while, pour in the tequila, pour in a bunch of ice, and I shake it for a good 2 minutes. And then I just pour it ice cold over a nice small margarita glass, which I dipped the rim in more tequila so the salt would stick. So, and then there's my thin lime garnish there. But it's absolutely
doing lines of tequila.
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, the fun thing about margaritas, I think, is you can really mess around with a lot of different fruit and a lot of different flavors. You can do very traditional, or you can spice it up kind of like we both do. And to your point, I normally do use agave nectar. And so, funny story, I was down at my parents' house in South Carolina last week. And I bought agave nectar. We were making some cocktails. And so today, as I'm like getting ready for the show, I'm like, oh yeah, I just bought agave nectar. Went to the cupboard. I'm like, yeah, in South Carolina, dumbass.
Still there. It's still there. Yeah, and for me, I don't like using the triple sec or the Cointreau. I mean, it's a preference thing. It does liven it up a bit, but for me, I really just don't need it. And so I just never remember to buy it, because like this is the first margarita I've mixed that didn't just come out of a Kirkland Signature pre-mixed bottle in like 2 years. So I did use Kirkland Signature, the silver tequila, which is a nice 1.75 liter handle for about $18.
And it's surprisingly good tequila.
It's really good. And yeah, it goes a long way. And I'm going to get a nice buzz tonight. And I'm already feeling a little warm. And I was really hot under the collar last weekend, yesterday, watching the finish, or I was more hot on Friday night, watching who made the cut and who did not make the cut. And I know you were a little ticked off. First thing, 6:40 or 6:38 a.m. Pacific for the Honda for the classic in Southern California. There, the Genesis.
There it is.
Yeah, the Genesis, Hyundai, not Honda. They're going from one Japanese car maker to the other on different coasts. But Riviera hosted the Genesis last week, and one of your boys literally withdrew minutes, if not seconds, before the start of the tournament, leaving everybody who rostered him in DFS high and dry.
Is that what they call a segue in the biz?
Yeah, I think we're going to need to spin it back for sure on last week.
Dude, I just fully dance from start to finish in our show. Hit the intro, dancing. Hit that,
man,
dancing.
we got some bangers on this show, man. Shout out Third and Short for doing our drops. They're phenomenal, and they keep getting better. He'll be like, oh no, we're gonna scrap that one. I'm like, what was wrong with it? Nothing. I'm just gonna make an even better one now. And we are gonna spin it back to where. I mean, do you want to talk about the waste management a whole lot? It's not really fresh in my mind. I'm a DFS guy. I'm like a closer in baseball. Very short memory for wins and losses because I don't want to get too high or low. Ebb and flow the whole season, but last week it got me pissed off.
Yeah, and the only thing to hit on with the waste management is I think you and I both had a really strong thought process. I think our picks are really good. Mm-hmm. We missed on Scotty Scheffler, but I think a lot of people probably did.
He was really popular for some reason.
Well, and you were all over Patrick Cantlay, and so I gotta give you credit there. But rounding out the rest, we called out Brooks Koepka. We called out Justin Thomas, Hideki, John
Hoagie.
Rahm.
I know you said Hoagie's name. And
I did.
He did pretty well, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he had a couple of good rounds in there. But yeah, I mean, T14 for Hoagie. I mean, that's good enough to keep him off the.
That's good points.
Yeah,
that's good points. He was making birdies, I remember, on the weekend, and that's really what you're looking for is A, make the cut from all your guys, and then B, when they make the weekend, that they're moving up the leaderboard and get you extra points.
Yep, no, exactly. And like I said, I mean, Hoagie's just, you and I have talked about it a lot for show. Hoagie's one of those guys that we rarely get right, but he always pays off when we get him. So
yeah. Might as well just throw a little bit of him each week because you never know when he's either going to be completely terrible or he's going to be close to winning. And so it's kind of like the nature of playing tournament DFS and golf is you're going to want to take some shots at those high upside guys. And Hoagie's definitely that. He's a volatile golfer, man. He is up and down all around, and you're just like, all right, let's ride this wave. Let's get a little freaky. Last week I got freaky with my two most rostered golfers that were 40% maxed out on my 20 entry max. So I had the most lineups out of anybody were my lineups with Colin Morikawa and your winner Joaquin Niemann at the Genesis. And it would have been a spectacular payoff. Like I did well. I broke even. I had one amazing lineup. My best lineup, actually only 4 of the 6 guys made the cut. Thanks Taylor Gooch, because he gooched all of us by going +6 in the first 2 rounds when he was a tournament favorite by all accords. Like I was trying to be careful not to overexpose myself. Thank God I did. I did limit myself to how much Taylor Gooch I had because he was awful, like awful. Tanked my lineups. I was also 40% exposed on Dustin Johnson because the dude has never missed the cut here. He's been top 15 in 6 straight years, and he comes out and misses the cut. So what can I do? Is my top pick, and the dude played worse than he has in 2 years.
Well, I was watching, like I read your column, and then I was watching the opening round, and I think he took a double on like 12
And I
or
was
something
like,
like that.
he was checked out.
And I just was like, well, DJ's sunk. Because if there's one thing I know about DJ's looking for the quickest net jet out of there if he's not playing
Yeah.
well. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
If his motivation isn't winning, he has no motivation.
yeah, no, and he ain't gonna find it either.
No, he's not going to look for it either.
But you brought up what really screwed me. I had let's see, 2 5 of 6s that I shared with you that got
Mhm.
through. Organically, I think they were bordering on 500 points,
Yep.
and thanks to Matt Fitzpatrick for withdrawing literally 4 minutes before start time. He was in something like 60% of my lineups. So yeah, I had a very
You know what
non-profitable.
saved me? You know what saved me was I had um I got paid that day at midnight on Thursday. It was like my payday. So I had more lineups I wanted to plug in. And so I logged in, I think at 6 a.m. my time, so 40 minutes before lock. And I saw that I was on my Discord channel, and they were like, "Hey, we think Fitz is going to drop out because he I guess he woke up and couldn't even warm up. He was throwing up again." I was like, "Jesus Christ!" So I out of 20 lineups, I probably had 4 or 5 Fitzpatrick lineups that I quickly adjusted off of. And of course, he was in the same price range as Taylor freaking Gooch. But so
Well, that was going to be my point though too. It's like even if I had
you were
caught the 50
screwed either
call,
way.
yeah. And I like, hey, I'm not going to bitch him on too much. I was in the middle of a golf course, when that news broke, so I was like, hey, I just happened to miss
Yeah,
it. But
I was like bleary eyed. Just got lucky that I had extra bit of money to throw into DraftKings at the last minute before lock. Enter the last tournaments that weren't filled, like because most of the entries on Thursday mornings are filled, and so you just got to take what's left. And I happened to see the red tag pop up right at the last, like you said, 4 minutes before lock. I was like, man, I'm glad I just took him out just to be safe. But yeah, if you had Fitzpatrick or Gooch or DJ last week, I'm sorry because I was with you and Connor was with you. A lot of people got knocked off by that, but luckily I was high enough, especially on Morikawa, who just the dude is a machine out there. He fit that golf course like a glove. He's just too solid. He's a great ball striker, great short game around the greens, and when his putter's hot, he's in contention every single time. And that was it. He gave Neiman a lot of heat at the end there. Neiman was looking shaky on that back nine.
yeah, and like I don't know, man. Neiman's a guy I never get right. Like I like his game. I like and I even most of the time like what the stats say, but it just seems like every time I play the guy, I get burnt. And so
Well, he's a
I'm
great
always
putter. He's a great
gun shy.
putter,
Just gun
but
shy with him.
off the tee, man, he is everywhere. And we saw that too. Like even though he's making birdies, he was scrambling to make those birdies. And you're like, man, this Neiman guy is such a crazy, like he's so emotional out there too. He's just like, I'm like, dude, I'm like on edge. I'm nervous for this guy because he's so skinny and frail looking. And he's out there whipping drives like 30 yards into the rough and then somehow making a birdie or saving par. And like, how is this guy doing this? He makes every putt. The dude never misses putts.
And he's just got this kind of like he's got an ability to hit a ball with any kind of flight that he needs to for the given shot. And not that these guys are all pros, but watching him, he's got some of the most creative ball flight of anybody out there, and I think that ultimately helps him get out of all the weird situations he gets himself into. So Neiman, I'll be honest, I missed on him. The signs were there, probably should have been on him. The guy that I was super overweight on, and it kind of just again trusting stats, trusting the dialogue. I had a ton of Cam Young, and that's the only thing that did save some of my lineups. He came in at like 6% owned in the big tournaments. So
yeah, he wasn't in my player pool, and I was surprised to see him up there so high because, again, these guys are all pretty streaky that we saw last week, and all the streaky guys that were hot at the same time were at the top, and then all the guys that were steady eddies played terrible. Like, oh, thanks. The really guys that were really confident we're going to make the cut didn't, and then your wild cards that were just too nervous to play a lot of were the ones that are just like taking. We're talking Riviera is one of the toughest courses on the regular PGA Tour schedule of all of them, and we have a guy that won with nearly 20 under. It's insane. Yeah, it's insane how well he was playing that, and Morikawa was playing that, and the rest of the guys, you got a big group at 10 and 11 and 12, but not up at 18, 19, 20 like we saw these leaders. They were just hot.
Well, I mean, hey, not and before we lose track of it, I mean, going back to Cam Young, I mean, the dude hits the ball a literal mile.
He's a strong boy.
Yeah. So I mean, I expect to see big things out of that guy.
That was a corn-fed honky right there, man. He was crushing drives out there. I was getting juiced up just watching him. I was like, dude, you don't need to hit driver here, but I want you to anyway.
Yeah, I just want to see it. Just one more.
It's that sound, the impact sound.
So those are our grievances and successes, I suppose. So this week, getting into Bo's favorite part of the country, we're at the Honda Classic out at PGA National. This is a par 70. It's about 7,125 yards. It is Bermuda, but not California Bermuda, as Bo pointed out.
Nope.
This course actually plays incredibly tough. You usually have low double digits, if not single digit under par as your winner.
Yep.
It's home to the Bear Trap, which is the fourth most difficult 3-hole stretch on the entire tour. It also has a mini Bear Trap on the front side, right in the middle of the first 9. I want to say it's 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
So if you're looking DK wise, if you're trying to get some birdie streaks going, your best bets are going to be honestly probably guys that start on the back. 10, 11, 12 aren't terribly difficult. So that would
18, 1, 2, 3. If they do start that way, that's a good stretch there, because 18 is a par 5 that a lot of people take advantage of after they've just been ridiculously ripped to shreds by the Bear Trap. Is they come to 18 like, oh, I can make a birdie here, or I can make an eagle here. But then if you're starting on 10, like you said, 18, 1, 2, 3 are all pretty darn easy, and you can get off to a hot start. If you start 1, 2, 3, that's great. But if you don't birdie those first 3, you're not going to get a streak for a while.
Yeah, or if at all, because even the tail end of the front 9, I'd rather have the wraparound going 18, 1, 2, 3.
Right.
But
that's an interesting note for Showdown. Like if you're doing single round DK Showdown, that's going to be really important to find out which guys are starting on the back 9 on Thursday or on Friday as well. Like you're going to have a sprinkling of the field that'll start on 10, and you want those guys for Showdown.
Absolutely. And that's actually segues right into my next point too. With Florida golf, I mean, we know the winds can come up and get heavy. Right now it's too early to tell, but that would be something to check closer to lock. If Thursday there's going to be a back 9 advantage, versus Friday with the conditions, pivot accordingly. You may want to go heavier on the guys that start either Thursday or Friday on that back 9 when you're going to have better scoring opportunities. So watch the winds. And dude, I can tell you, man, I played not this Florida, but I played in South Carolina multiple times last week. We had one day where the winds came up, coastal course, winds came up like 20 plus miles an hour, and it is scary hard. I mean,
yeah, the air's heavy there too, so the wind matters more. Like it's windy here and it's dry. It's like, yeah, you basically pay a club difference for each 10 miles an hour. And over there, you got to do a club and a half difference for each mile an hour because the air is so heavy. That's that sea air. Yeah. And Jack Nicklaus, the design of the course, knows exactly what he's doing with that sea air and in the trade winds that come off the Atlantic coast, because this place is tough. We're talking Bermuda greens that are hard to read because they have grain and they have water flow. And then you have all the water on this course. We're talking an aquatic wasteland. This is basically water world at the PGA National Course.
15 to 18 holes have got a water hazard on them, which is nuts, right? I mean, and to your point, dude, I was on a Nicklaus course, so I mean, I can really attest to like it gets tricky. The conditions really will screw with you. But anyways, outside of the wind, which we don't know if it's going to be a factor. Like Bo and I just alluded to, some of the biggest defense on the course is there are 15 holes that have water on them. It's got some babbling brook type of stuff that kind of runs through some of the middle of the fairways, and there makes some awkward layup points. And then there's also about 65 to 70 bunkers on this course. So you better be able to play some target golf here. And I think that kind of leads into like, the biggest thing that I'm looking at is guys with strong approach game, strong accuracy, and really the ability to play in bad conditions on tough courses. So I do think that there is an opportunity, if the wind stays down, that we might see some bombers have some success here. That's typically not the way that this goes, but
I'm dodging bombers this week, man.
I think I'm going to do, I do this a lot. I think I'm going to have a few lineups that are bomber centric, and then I'm going to have a bunch of lineups that are more geared towards what historical data leads you towards, which is, your more consistent, accurate ball strikers.
Yeah, your strokes gained on approach, your strokes gained around the green. Those are the two stats that stood out for me here, especially looking at the leaderboard for the last few years, where guys that just they get an iron in their hand, a wedge in their hand, and you trust them 100% to get close enough to the hole where the grain of the greens on the Bermuda doesn't kill them. Because if you're far away from the hole on this course, you're not going to score.
No, but it doesn't seem far in the scheme of the PGA, right? But
no, it's a short course.
Distance is about 150 to 200 yards, which to you and I that's a long freaking way. But yeah, that's where your average.
Speak yourself, man. That's a punch 9 iron for me, man.
Yeah, I'll just hit a 60 degree from here.
If you skull it, that's about right.
And if you see me hit a 60, you'd know that's pretty close to accurate. So yeah, anyways, that's the key stats that I looked at this week. Shots gained approach, obviously. Bogey avoidance is huge. I did a mixture of driving distance and accuracy, looking for guys that maybe have a little bit of an edge with distance, get a little bit closer, but are hitting the fairways. And then, like I said, as you're toying around, maybe doing some modeling and all that, I think your key approach distance is 150 to 200 yards. So kind of dial that in. And again, just couldn't reiterate this more, like pay attention to the starts, front 9, back 9 and the conditions, because I think it's going to matter a lot.
It's going to matter. And you said something really important, target golf. These Florida courses, especially this one and the Players in a couple weeks, target golf is exactly what these courses force you to play. There's not going to be guys that bomb at 30, 40 yards past another guy. They're going to be looking for landing areas. And there's going to be collections of landing areas that if you miss your spot, you're out of position and you can't attack the hole. They position everything to where if you're out of position, you're done. And a lot of these guys that are used to just taking advantage of their length and hitting shorter balls into holes doesn't work here, because you might run into a lake at the end of the landing area where, distance really doesn't help you if your extra length takes you into the lagoon, as they call it over there.
You're not wrong. And if you can't find your target, you're probably going to be heading home early. And I think we can get right into our DraftKings picks for the week.
Yes, sir.
The club is well. This would be a wrestling slam.
I love that drop, man. This is No Trunk Slams, our DFS picks for the week for the Honda Classic at Jack's Place, the home of the Bear Trap. DraftKings did some really shady, shisty stuff with this pricing, because they got some guys that have no business at above 10K that are going to ask you to look at, okay, what is going on here? And then you have a bunch of guys that shouldn't have any business under 8K that are as well. So you're going to have a log jam of chalk here based on the $8,000 range, which has all the good golfers in it. What's going on, Koff?
I don't know, man. You kind of hit the nail on the head. I had a hell of a time as I was sitting down, going through the pricing and trying to put together lineups, because I think a lot of the guys that I want to play are mixed right in there in the 9s and the 8s, and you can only get a few of them in. And I think the other challenge lies in that it depends on what kind of conditions we end up getting. Like, there's a lot of guys in there that I would play because they play better in wind. They play better in bad conditions. They play tough courses well. And there's other guys that, if it's pretty mundane and they can go out and score a little bit, there's some strong scorers in there too. So I had a hell of a time with it. I will say, jumping off at the top though, one of the guys that rated out really well for me, but I'm terrified of his back, is Daniel Berger.
He's on my list here. Daniel Berger, 10-4.
Yeah, which to me is also like a little much to pay for Daniel Berger.
That's so messed up, right? It's almost as messed up as my top guy, the guy that I'm probably going to have 40% max on. is Sung J M at 11,000. The very top is Sung J M is at the top, guys. What is going on? Am I unpunked? What's going on?
Well, no doubt. And like the funny thing too is right now, man, I'm just like early projections, but Sung Jae's already at like 27% owned in these MMEs. So it's just like,
which is crazy because I don't know if he's a great play here. I was hoping to just get a little bit of chalk mitigation because the smart people will look at 11,000 for Sung Jam and go, hell no.
I mean, I will say he notoriously plays, or historically, not notoriously, or both. He does play well here. I mean, 2020 he won, and then last year he was T8. So I mean, it's not like he plays bad. He hasn't missed a cut here in the 3 starts he's had, and he does check some of the boxes though. I mean, he really does.
11,000.
Yeah, that's
no, I mean,
scary.
I play him a lot. I do love Sung JM. I play him a lot, but this is by far his highest price I've ever seen. And at a course where if you're off by even a little bit, you're going home on Friday. And it really gives me a lot of anxiety to pay 11,000 for a guy that I'm used to paying close to 9.94.
Yeah, and I'd feel a lot better if he was sub 10 for sure. And the other thing too, and in spite of what he's done here, like he just really does not rate out that well from the approach distances we're looking at. I mean, he's 105th in the field from 150 to 175, and that's over the last 36 rounds. Now, granted, that's not on this course, but
still,
that scares me a lot at 11,000. And
it should.
And the other thing too, and we talk about this all the time, is like when you start getting into a guy that's going to cost you 11K, you are saying that guy is T3 or better, and I don't know. I don't know if I believe that.
I really don't. I just don't. And I like your guy better, 10-4, Daniel Berger. I mean, his back looked okay last couple of weeks. He had that WD 3 weeks ago, I think. But we have a guy with one of the best short games on the tour, Daniel Berger, who isn't a long hitter at all. He's a Jim Furyk type. He's basically a technician out there, great at playing target golf. He's one of the best putters on tour, great approach player, great all-around player inside of 200 yards. So I love Daniel Berger's makeup for this event, but like you said, how healthy is he?
Yeah, and the only thing, I mean, I think with him, he took last week off. He's had several weeks now to kind of get his back right. I assume he's good to go. And really, you can't fade him. Like if he tees it up, that he has every tool. He's got all the results right now. He's number 1 in the field in most of the metrics we're looking at. He rated out far and ahead number 1 in my modeling. Like if this guy tees it up, I'm not going to leave him on the table.
Yeah. What do you feel about Billy Ho? He's one of my favorites this week because he's a Florida boy. He really, really wants to win this tournament. The crowd's going to be behind him. And talk about short games. Billy Ho's short game is lights out.
Yeah, Billy Ho's on my list this week too, and I feel like he's right on the cusp of doing something good. Like it seems like every week Billy Ho's name is
there. He's right there.
He's right there, and I
only 9,600. I was surprised to not see him over 10.
I kind of thought he'd be up there too, given the guys that are. So I do like Billy Ho this week, and I like the Florida narrative. This is an area he's familiar with. Can't really poke too many holes in him. The only thing I'll say is he is chalky as all get out. And and you're paying for him. I mean, yeah. I did think he'd be higher just based on the wonky pricing this week, but most weeks I'm not paying 9,400 for Billy Ho.
No,
but maybe this week
it's not the same kind of quality field that we're used to, which is why these guys got pushed up. Like we don't have all 10 of the top 10 in the world golf rankings like we did last week. So it's going to be tricky to find out which guys are going to save us money that are going to be up there at the top of the leaderboard, potentially winning it, and then which guys who are up at this expensive level pulling chalk, which one of those guys is going to fall flat that we want to avoid completely, like Dustin Johnson.
What's your feeling on Louis?
He's
got the tools.
He does, though. He's another back bad back guy though, and he hasn't really been playing all that well lately, or very much lately, which gives me a lot of concern because he is up there in age. He's almost Champions Tour ready. Back problems galore. He's a better ball striker than he has for short game. Like, I don't like his putting at all. He plays well in Florida. You can't ignore that. Louis O shows up to play in Florida. I just don't love him. Like, I like him. I'll have him in spots. I'll probably have 20-25% exposure to Louis, but I'm not like gonna be like, woo, Louis. I'm not gonna be cheering for him on Sunday.
No, bro, and I can't get excited about Louis. Like I pull for Louis every time he's in contention because I think as a general statement, he's a pretty entertaining guy. He's pretty fun to watch and all those things. But
Louis kept Neiman over him all week. Even
Well,
Tommy Fleetwood's game matches up with this course better than Louis'.
That's funny too, because I was looking at Fleetwood, man. I hate Fleetwood. I hate where he's trending at. I think, dude, I just don't see any signs of life out of him really. But he fits the course well. He historically has done really well at this course. He's probably going to be low owned because it's Tommy Fleetwood. So I don't know. That's maybe not.
He's not a point scorer, but he makes every cut. That's the problem with Fleetwood is you're like, yeah, he might win, but he's going to still somehow score under 100 DraftKings points in a win. It's like the only guy you can count on that to happen is Tommy Fleetwood. It's like, I'm going to win this tournament, but you're going to get 87 points out of me over 4 days.
You know another guy that you could say the same thing about, who I'm actually pretty high on, especially if the wind kicks up, is Shane Lowry. I like Shane Lowry on
the Irishman.
Tough courses. I like Lowry in the wind.
Oh yeah,
and I'm gonna be honest, man. I like the price on him. I mean,
94. Yeah,
that's for a guy that is a proven PGA champion. I mean, like the guy wins.
Yep.
So I do like Shane Lowry a bit this week, and I especially like pivoting to Shane Lowry if we get reports that the weather is going to be bad. And I think that's where Shane Lowry really increases in value. And I don't think that he's going to be terribly popular.
Probably not. I can't imagine why he would be. But your guy Cam Young down there with my guy Brian Harman, only $100 apart. I mean, which way you leaning there? Harman's short game is as good as it gets. The dude makes every putt from all over the world. Lefty, crafty.
I'll take head with you on that one. I'll take Cam Young
over Brian Harman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd take that bet. You figure out what you want to bet on that.
I just think Cam Young doesn't line up with the golf course that well because he ain't going to be able to bruise it down there 350 on every hole.
Yeah, but
he's basically what's his name, Light.
DeChambeau Light.
Yeah.
Only he probably won't play on the Saudi tour.
No, and neither will DeChambeau because he's basically gonna just sit out tournaments with a bad back until he gets an offer he can't refuse. That's probably what he's doing right now.
Yeah, him and Phil are in that same boat, I feel like. But anyways,
that's okay. Go get the bag, young man. Go get the bag.
No, so I'll tell you, when I said I like some bombers, Cam Young falls into that category for me, and not because I like the fact that he hits a driver 350 yards. I like the fact that he can club down and take different irons where other guys are going to be playing woods and things like that. And I just think that there is something to be said for being able to play a shorter club to the same type of landing areas these guys are playing to. And from the approach distances we're looking at with him, he's actually a pretty good player from those ranges. The place that I get a little scared with Cam Young is predominantly around the green, like watching him, and maybe it was a pressure thing, but watching him close out the weekend, that's scary. First time in the trap on the weekend, and you're gonna duff it and stay in the trap. Like you got to find you. And granted, he's newer, shaking the nerves off, but that's a little concerning. And it wasn't like that was an isolated event. Like he's not tremendously great around the green.
No, he's gonna look at those peninsula greens that are all over Jack's place, and he's gonna just see blue. That's all he's gonna see. He's not gonna see green grass. He's just like, man, where am I supposed to land it?
Yeah, I better bring his floaties and a fishing pole.
Yep.
No,
I just like Harman a lot better on this course, especially even if the wind kicks up. Harman plays beautifully at Pebble Beach, where the wind is always a factor.
He's a Texas boy, isn't he?
What's that?
He's a Texas
Harman,
boy, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's used to the wind,
Yeah.
and he's used to flighting the ball low. He's used to target golf. We were going to say that a few times in this show. Target golf, Brian Harman, excellent play here, just because he's exactly what you want on this course. He's a competitor. He's a proven winner, and for a guy who doesn't hit the ball very far, he scores. Like the dude makes birdies. He makes birdie streaks. He doesn't make too many bogeys. I'm all over Brian Harman this week. Regardless, I don't think his chalk is going to be extreme because he is up at 8,700.
I'm with you. I do like Brian Harman for all the reasons you just said. No, he's not chalky. That's what I was looking up for you. He's
Perfect.
I mean, granted, it's Monday, but he's sitting at about 9% projected. So
that's great. I'll take that.
I'll tell you what, though, my boy Cam Young's projected at 15 already, so that's not great.
Yeah, woof. It's because of what he did last week. Everybody was all enamored with him just lashing balls out there.
Oh god, PGA DFS is the most like recency biased game that you can play on DraftKings.
Just perfect. It's perfect because every week is a new challenge. Every round is a new challenge. It's a 4-day sweat. There's nothing like it. To round out that kind of tier there before we get down into the value plays, Denny McCarthy's on my radar. Same reasons as Harman. I like guys that can just plan their way around a golf course, hit solid shots, not take too many risks, because this isn't the course where you go out there and say, you know what, I'm going to start pin seeking. I don't think Denny McCarthy has the stones to go pin seeking, let alone try to do it on a course like the Bear Trap.
I'm with you. And the two guys, I mean, we've named quite a few in this area, but two guys that are on my radar too, and I just haven't decided if I'm going to play them yet. Russell Knox at 8,100 and our boy Mito at 8,900. And for two key reasons with them, they're both rating out really well in the approach distances we're looking at, and they both rate out in the top 10 for bogey avoidance, which I think is super important this week. Yeah. So just two more guys that if you want to get a little bit off the beaten path because they're priced right around some bigger names, those guys would be some decent value, I think.
Yep, excellent. So what kind of value plays do you have, though? I mean, I'm interested because if you're going to go and spend $11,000 on Sung Jae Im this week, you're going to have to throw in some wild cards at under 7K or 7,200 and below. And there's not a whole lot of really nice looking ones in that group. Let's just say that.
No. So for whatever reason, and this is another guilty pleasure of mine, but I'm probably going to play some Mark Hubbard. He is
who?
Mark. That's Mark.
Old Mother Mark Hubbard.
Old Mother Hubbard. Dude, I don't know. I'm a sucker for Mark Hubbard. I liked when he was on a streak last year for a little bit. The guy's entertaining to watch. He's funny. He did that goofy putting thing a couple times. Like, anyways, but in reality, an actual reason to play the guy. He's at 6,900. He rates out fifth in the field for the last 36 rounds, fifth in the field in bogey avoidance. He's also number 12 in the field, total shots gained tee to green, and 14th in the field for shots gained approach. So he's checking the boxes on some of the key things that we're looking at, tee to green and approach, to be that well ranked at 6,900. And on top of that, his recent results have actually been pretty good. I mean, he's a streaky player.
Kelly's calling you out. See, I agree, Kelly. I'm just waiting until he finishes yapping so I can just rip Mark Hubbard apart.
I mean, if you had listened to what I just said for the last 10 seconds, you'd realize I made a compelling case to play Mark Hubbard.
Yeah, but as Kelly says, entertaining doesn't win a tournament.
We'll see.
I'd rather spend less money on a better golfer. Not going to say your golfer was bad or anything, but if you go down $200 to 6,700, my guy Harry Higgs, also entertaining but better at golf than Mark Hubbard, I'll take him instead. Also, if you want to get really fancy at 7,200, Zach Johnson at 7,200 is an absolute crime, and he's another short game wizard that never misses putts, that has played well here in the past, and all the things you want in this tournament. And 7,200 for Zach Johnson. What more do I need to say for that?
Yeah, I like Zach Johnson. I don't hate your Harry Higgs call. My problem with Higgs, man, is I just don't see him ever crossing the finish line. He's good enough, but
Oh, you didn't just see him shoot a 64 on Sunday?
Yeah, but I'm saying you got to put together a full tournament. I mean, like
He
that's
chipped in for birdie with a guy stirring his drink behind him. What more do you want?
I mean, entertainment value for sure.
Yeah.
No,
I think Kelly's on my side. I mean, it's no wonder
I would
that
take
Kelly's on my side.
I would take Zach Johnson too. I'm with you there. And
Who else you got besides Mark Hubbard?
another guy that former glory. I do kind of like Luke Donald this week. Again.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say my guy. you said like a old favorite, old winner, and I thought you were gonna say my guy. So I do like Luke Donald. I don't love him.
I'm not in love with anybody under 7K, but
no. Yeah, don't get us wrong. Like we're saying his guy sucks, but so does mine. Just sucks less.
Go ahead. Who you got?
Yeah, Padraig Harrington is
I
playing
saw that.
out of his damn mind right now. He's on the European Tour and the Champions Tour. Padraig Harrington is lights out right now. And this guy is a Florida resident that plays well every time. Like you said, when the wind kicks up, you pick the Irishman up. You get Shane Lowry. Pick up Patty too. If you got wind in the forecast, Padraig Harrington is a fantastic pick because Florida guy knows the trade winds from Ireland. He's a major winner. Short game is absolutely nails. That's why he's still putting up top 20 performances in Europe. He's solid. And you're going to get Padraig Harrington for $6,700. And it's like length doesn't matter if the guy is still in the top 80 of driving distance. It doesn't matter on this course because he knows his way around it.
Yeah, and I mean, at 6,700, we don't need him to win the golf tournament.
Nope, just make the damn cut, Potty.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing. Is Kelly is giving me endless amounts of garbage over here. I think the important thing to know is like one. I don't think you need to dip below 7K this week, to be honest. And secondly, I'm not in love with any of these guys. What we're looking at here is just trying to find something that's pinch your nose and go for it. And, I think I like Patty, dude. I really do. But again, I just don't know. I just don't know why you got to get down there. I think there's better plays in the mid to high sevens. And I think
if you're going full fade over most guys over 10K, you really won't need to roster anybody under 7K. And the early word on the street from my side here on the Team Rise or Fall team is they're going to be flooding the 7,000 and 8,000 guys, or the 75 to 8,500 range is just chock full of great players and great plays for this course. So it might come down to some of my lineups might be stars and scrubs, but most of them are probably going to be log jammed in the middle.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think really that's where you spend the most time. And I think some of those like sub 10K plays that we talked about earlier, I think that's really where you start. And you can really do 2 or 3 of them depending on what part of the 9K you're in, and still be able to be above 7K for your last 3 guys going in. So I would lean that way. The 4 or 5 darts that we threw out for sub 7K, they all have some merit to them. They're all incredibly risky.
So incredibly low upside.
Yeah, and that's the other part. Like that's why I say like, you're just looking at the bottom there. I'm just trying to figure out where we might be able to get a couple extra points out of one of these guys. And, I think these guys, if you look at the sea of nobodies around them, I think these are your guys to look at.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, of course, you have 2 guys with Irish last names putting out Irish golfers for a golf tournament. Nobody's surprised. Yeah. Coughlin and McBrayer, we're going to put out some Irishmen. Oh, it might be a little windy, don't you know? Yeah.
I hope it gets windy. That way we can just have a big Irish party next show. We'll do some like Irish whiskey cocktails.
It's gonna be that time of year.
Mm-hmm. Shit, actually, the next show will be the last one before St. Patty's, so we might have to.
It will be. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll cook something up.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna be great.
I don't feel like we got a ton of disagreement this week either. I think.
I know I was really picking through to find out which guys you were going to take and the ones that I wouldn't like. And other than Hubbard and Mito Pereira, who I'm not really high on this week, I'm not going to be totally against those guys. I'm just not going to be. They're not going to be in my player pool, and that's all I'm saying. Is my player pool is going to be 20 to 30 guys. I'm going to have 20 lineups, and I'm not going to have more than 40-50% of any one of them because I want to have the exposure spread out enough to where I'm centralized on my favorite ones, but I'm not overexposed, which kills everything. So you're going to have multiple bullets that are going to be there on Sunday, hopefully with 6 out of 6 making the cut, where you can really cash in and climb the leaderboard on Sunday.
God, let's hope so, man. It's been tough sledding so far.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
Now we're off the West Coast. I feel confident I might be able to outpace you a little bit.
Yeah, I really do have to be careful to not deposit too much money in DraftKings for the Florida swing because last year's Florida swing was a complete disaster. I know the West Coast really, really well, and I know the East Coast very, very little. Just got to keep my wits about me.
Nope. You're hey, man, we just keep making good picks. That's all.
I said that after I just drank a fishbowl worth of margarita.
It is the great equalizer, though. So we'll see. I think we'll start to balance out a little bit here.
Oh, but you are on for our head-to-head there between
right.
your guy and mine.
Yeah, pick a shot. We'll do a shot on air.
Oh, you got it.
Sounds good, my man.
All right, let's wrap this up. This has been 19th Hole Live, part of IBT Media. From Conor Coughlin, I am Bo McBrayer. Cheers, slancha. Hit them straight. Let's go. Thursday, good luck. Win some big money. Have a good night.